Afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
I'll be sharing the test result by today evening. Apart from that, I see that there are certain students who could not take the test. I want to know the reason why you could not take the test, and then accordingly, I will be changing the questions, and then again, I'll reshare the link. All right. So please keep this in your mind that very soon I'll be conducting quiz number 2, and that is going to happen again on Monday. That on let me conduct it on Tuesday because Monday will be Bhai Dooj. The people will be busy with the celebrations and all. So on 17th, I'm going to conduct quiz test 2 on 17th, and make sure that everybody takes the test in the given time period. I'll appreciate if you can do that. All right. So in today's class, we are going to once again discuss something new. This is the last chapter of your syllabus, which talks about preparation for job. That is how one should prepare for the job interviews. And being the student of management pursuing PGDM course, it is very important because every now and then you will have to conduct interview. You may say, ma'am, every now and then? Yes, of course. You people are going to conduct interviews every now and then once when you join an organization. Sometimes when you are interacting with new people, sometimes when you are having discussion with your seniors, sometimes when you are in like having a communication with a new client. So every time we conduct interview, in general, people they have a belief that interview happens only for job. Yes, it is one of the important thing we cannot neglect. We cannot say that for jobs interviews are not taken. Of course, for the job interview is taken, but it is not only for job. Many times we do conduct interviews in an informal way, when you are letting people know about yourself, when you are sharing things related to your personal life or even about your professional life with the other person, when you are having the professional relationship with the different organizations, with the different members of the different teams or the different departments. Again, what do you give? You do give your interview. So when we break this particular word interview, it is divided, or you can divide it into two parts. One is inter, the other word is view. View is your opinion. Every person on this earth, whosoever is going to present, they have their opinion. You may have your own opinion. I will have my own opinion. Now, the connection between these two views, how do we interlink? How do we interconnect the opinion that is shared by you all along with my own objective, my own opinion, or my perspective? This is actually the meaning of interview. So, knowing each other's view, knowing each other's opinion, and so that you can identify what is the common things which are common in both the views. Say, for example, there can be certain commonalities between your opinion as well as my opinion. When you try to connect those commonalities, when you are trying to bridge the gap, and when you try to connect the common dots, that is called as interview. So when we are talking about interview skills, please keep this in your mind. It is not only related to the job, it is again whenever you are getting acquainted with any new person, when you are sharing your experiences, when you are talking about your professional growth, when you are talking about your professional life, when you are trying to develop the network with the others, you in fact conduct an interview. So interview is very, very interesting thing. It is done by each one of us. It is a part and parcel of everybody's life. We are scared because of rejection. If I talk to any candidate who has completed his or her graduation, and when I ask them to attend an interview, they often get scared. And what is the reason for their fear, or for that element of fear? It's only because the term rejection. Please remember, nowhere you will be rejected. Nowhere a person will be rejected just on the basis of interview. Of course, if the opinions are not matching, if there is no common background, if there is no commonality, if there are things which are absolutely moving in two different directions, that means people having diverse opinion, then they say your opinion is totally different from mine. Your vision and mission is totally different from mine. Hence, it is advised not to connect. It is advised to be apart. Therefore, keep this in your mind that whenever you attend any interview, people may try to look for common points. People will try to build common points so that you can link up your thoughts, your action with the actions and thoughts of the listener. So always try to bridge this gap. What is the best way of doing it? Get the tips, like try to look for those clues. If somebody is talking about something which can give you a clue, which can include a clue to you that what are his likings, what are his dislikes, what is she liking, what is she disliking, how can you connect with them, how can you get associated with them. So when you keep these common things in your mind, automatically you are going to see that you are getting liking, you are getting appreciated. You people will have a friendly relationship with the person whosoever is conducting your interview. So always remember, whenever we talk about interviews, interviews are not conducted to scare people. Interviews are conducted in order to see what are the common points that can help you to bridge the gap. So therefore, there are interviews which are conducted in the different way, in the different forms, in the different kinds. Sometimes it is conducted when you are liking or when you are willing to join a new organization. So for example, when there is a position vacant, people conduct interview in order to hire. When you are joining a college, again, your interviews are conducted. You must have attended GDPI. GD stands for group discussion, PI stands for personal interview. Due to COVID, when you have given your admission or when your admission process were on, probably you did not have this GD session this time, but yes, you all might have gone through the personal interview process where you were talking about yourself, where you have given your personal details to the person who was counseling you. So personal interview is part of even the students who are pursuing or who are into their education. Once when you are joining any organization, you may look for internship. So even as an intern, when you are willing to join, people do conduct interview. When people have doubts, when people have like confusion, whenever they want clarity, they conduct interview in order to identify what are the doubts, in order to identify what is it that is missing in the commonality, or how to bridge up the gap so that the person can have a clear cut understanding. So please remember, interviews are held, they are conducted in different ways with different people with different objectives. Some may conduct interview to hire you, some may conduct interview to know more about you so that they can help you out. They can exactly match up your expectation. There are certain interviews which are conducted in order to train you. There are certain interviews which are conducted in order to guide you. There are certain interviews which are conducted in order to make you more skillful. So keep the different things in your mind. It is not only for job, but apart from job, interviews are also held for the different purposes. So keeping those purposes in our mind, now you should remember, when we talk about interview, as I said, knowing the opinion of others. So when we talk about knowing the opinion of others, now the interview which that is happening, that happens from two different perspectives. One, the interviewer. Second, the interviewee, that is the candidate. When we are talking about the interviewer, you should know the name of the organization. You should know what is the position. You should know what is the profile. You should know the complete detail of the profile, that is the job responsibilities. Unless and until you don't know the job role, unless and until you don't know the profile, unless and until you don't know the responsibilities, unless and until you don't know the name of the organization, do you think you will be able to bridge the gap? Do you think you will be able to tell the common points which the interviewer is liking to hear from you or is keen to know from you? No, you cannot. Hence, whenever you talk about any interview, the first and the most important thing is know the name of the organization. You should know which organization or the person whosoever is going to conduct the interview is associated with the kind of organization. So what is the name of the organization? What is his or her profile? Check the profile. These days, you people are tech savvy. You people know how to look for the profiles of the different people who come for the interview. Even if you don't know the profile of the person, even if you don't know the name of the person, at least on LinkedIn, you should look for the responsibilities that the person is owning, the one who is going to come to conduct your interview. What are their responsibilities? What is the vision and mission of the organization? Here, let us understand what do we understand by the word vision and what do we understand by the term mission. Vision is something which the organization is looking for. Say, for example, in next 5 years down the line, after 5 years, they want to place the company in Fortune 1,000 big companies. After 5 years, they want to list their company in Fortune 500 companies. So, what is their vision? Based on the vision, you will draw certain mission points. When I say mission points, they are the small breakup points, breakup ideas that are drawn, the strategies that you are going to create in order to reach to your vision. So everybody, even if I talk about the students, let me get the answer from you all. As a student of PGDM, when I talk about your vision, can I get quickly from you all through the chat box? What is your vision? What is it that you are looking for when you have joined ISM or when you have enrolled yourself in the course of PGDM? Can I get quickly in the chat box about your vision, and can you please also let me know about your mission? So first question is, what is your vision? Do you have any vision? Do you have any goal? Do you have any idea? Did you plan your career? Did you think what you want to do after 1.5 years or after 2 years time? So can I get that one single word from your side? What is it that you're looking forward after this completion, or by the end of this course, by the completion of this course? Quickly in the chat box. So Bittu Kumar says he wants to develop his skills and achieve the goal. Yes. Rajesh Kumar wants to develop his personality. So Dhanshu Shekhar wants to improve himself. Very good. So you are having a proper vision, isn't it? So based on the vision that is stated by Bittu or that is stated by Rajesh or presented by Sudhanshu Shekhar, I have received one more comment from Badi Usman who says that he wants to achieve success. He wants to learn how to achieve success or to improve himself. Again, Ganga Kumar states that he wants to enhance his personality. Archana Kumari also wants to enhance her personality. Akanksha Pandey wants to develop her personality. Abhishek Kumar wants to achieve goals that he had pointed, that he had drafted, and he wants to improve himself by gaining knowledge. So Roshni also talks about personality development. Ankit wants to have a proper development of his personality along with achievement of his goals. Sanjeev Kumar wants to become a better person for the organization so that wherever he works, he becomes a right person, a suitable candidate. Sonal Sandhya wants to improve herself. Sonam Kumari wants to develop her personality. So likewise, see, you all have a vision, isn't it? Now, how can you develop your personality? How can you achieve your goals? How can you reach up to your target? Now, when you are going to answer this how will be either in one point or maybe in couple of points, isn't it? So when you have that identified idea, by these things, I can achieve my target. So, for example, if somebody stated, I want to improve my personality, that is, my vision is to develop my personality. So, how are you going to develop your personality? Can I get the answer to that? Everybody, of course, everybody is looking forward to develop their personality so that you can become corporate fit. Because of that fitment of your personality, you can get into the corporate world. You can enter into the corporate world not only as an employee but also as an entrepreneur. So through learning, rightly stated by Rajesh, through learning. What are you going to learn, Rajesh? If you can elaborate into the term and if you can really let me know what exactly you want to learn. So Nidhi says by working on ourselves. What are the skills that you are going to really work out on? So ultimately, you people are going to have those small points, isn't it? There will be certain small plans that you people are going to work out. Exactly, these are called as mission. So when you are talking about learning, you may be learning about managerial skills, you may be learning communication skills, you may learning about the employable skills, isn't it? So you're going to learn how to manage time, you're going to learn how to participate, how to present. Yes, presentation is one of the important skills that you're going to enhance. You're going to write, and you're going to learn knowledge skills by doing different assignments, by giving or sharing those different assignments on time. So these are your mission. These are your mission. And in order to achieve your vision, you should know what is your mission. If you do not plan your mission accordingly, you cannot set your vision accordingly, you are going to beat the bush without achieving anything. So keep this in your mind that whenever you have a vision along with a set of missions, you can definitely achieve your set of target. And that is what the interviewer is going to look into you. So what are the first thing that we are going to do whenever if anybody talks about interview? Know the organization, know the company, know the kind of place that you are going to looking to associate with. So the first step is know the organization. Can I get quickly in the chat box? I want you all to write down. So whenever if you are going to attend any interview, it's not that you're going to prepare for the question, introduce yourself, why should I hire you, what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses. This is the common preparation that everybody does. But before that, you should know the organization. So quickly in the chat box, everybody, I want everybody to write down the point one, company specific preparation. When I say company specific preparation, what I'm saying is be very specific, be very keen to know more about the organization. Know about the organization where you're going to associate, where you're going to work, where you're going to go for the interview. All right. So everybody in the chat box, quickly know the company. I want you all to write down these points. Know the company or company specific preparation. All right. Quickly, I am waiting for your response through the chat box. Everybody, you should know the company. Why it is going to help you if you are knowing the company? By knowing the company, you will come to know what are their vision and mission. Are you really the kind of person who can work out with that particular vision and mission? Please keep this in your mind. Unless and until you are not knowing the vision and mission of the organization, and if you just clear your interview, after clearing your interview, you will always find it difficult to gel up, to mingle up. Why? Because the vision and mission of the organization is totally different. It is not at all in sync with your expectation. So it is always advised, know the company first. After knowing the company, second thing that everybody should know is the job profile. If the opening is for marketing executive, am I fit for this job? If the company is looking for sales officer, sales executive, or a sales manager, am I suiting or do I fulfill the basic qualification? Do I have all those credentials? Do I have all those requirement, the eligibility criteria that is set by the organization? Am I fulfilling all those eligibility criteria or not? So always remember, when you are knowing the company, when you are sitting for an interview, when you are appearing for an interview process, first thing, know the organization and check whether the organization can understand your viewpoint or you can understand their vision and mission. Second point, you should know the eligibility criteria. This is second thing that every student, when you are appearing for any interview, the second thing that you should do is check for the eligibility criteria. All right. So I want everybody to write down in the chat box eligibility criteria. Let me see who's going to type first. So when you are checking for the eligibility criteria, you're going to see whether you are qualifying or not. Thank you, Sonal Sandhya, for writing that. Eligibility criteria, yes, that is very, very important. Why is it important? Because that will help you to understand whether you are suiting, whether you are suitable candidate or not. All right. So under eligibility, what are the things that you're going to see? Your qualification, percentage of mark, and then the skill sets that are required to do that particular job. So the third thing is job profile. Third is job profile. What is the name of the profile? Do I have all the required skill sets or not? So if you know the job profile, you can match it with the eligibility criteria, and then you can proceed ahead with your preparation. All right. We are not talking about preparation. We are just preparing for the interview. This is phase one. Whenever there is an interview to be held, the first thing that you should do is know the name of the company, identify its vision and mission statement, then judge whether are you going to match up their expectations or not. If you can really try, then second thing that you should do is know the profile. What is the job? What is it that they are calling the interview for? And then match up the eligibility criteria. All right. And then third thing that everybody is going to do is go through the job description. I want everybody to type job description, because this is the biggest mistake that people who attend the interview does. They don't even go through the job description. And when they do not know what is the job description, when they are not even knowing what exactly the roles and responsibilities are to be fulfilled, they just go sit for the interview without knowing the job description, and then ultimately blame others. So keep this in your mind that job descriptions are really very, very important. When we say job description, under the segment job description, the title would be roles and responsibilities. What is it the company is looking for? Say, for example, tomorrow, after 1.5 years, you have got a wonderful business plan and you want to hire certain people. Unless and until you are not going to describe the job the person is going to do or supposed to do, how will we or how will you identify who the right candidate is to whom you're going to select? So, therefore, identifying job description. Description means giving the details. What are you giving the details related to? Related to job. So the job description should be in detail. You should mention about the different details of the roles and responsibilities. What is it that you are expecting from the organization? So the interviewer, whenever he sits for the interview process, he will share the job description beforehand. I don't know how many of you have enrolled for the internship, the live project that was shared with you all. Did you all enroll for the live project? If you have enrolled, quickly in the chat box, yes or I. And if you did not, then write NOT not. So if you have enrolled yourself, all right, you will see that you must have studied the job description, isn't it? You must have read about the different job descriptions that was mentioned under each segment. If it was related to social media, what was the responsibility that was expected from the student? What is the skill set that they are looking for? What would be your responsibility? Everything is mentioned into it, right? So whenever you are talking about job description, please remember they are very important. And today, after the end of this class, you all are going to receive couple of job description which are shared by the different organizations. Those are the kind of job descriptions which even that will be shared with you all once when you are sitting for the interview process. So keep this in your mind before appearing for the interview, before attending the interview. Equal preparation would be done by the interviewer and interviewee. In fact, interviewee will be only one single person, whereas when we talk about the interviewer will be the one who has to take interview of probably 10, 20, 30, 40, 100 don't know how many. So therefore, the task that is shouldered by the interviewer is much difficult, or is the toughest one when compared to the interview. So always keep this in your mind. Whenever even you have to conduct the interview, conducting interview is more difficult than giving an interview. So you have to do proper preparation. You have to do proper planning. And when we talk about proper preparation and proper planning, you need to identify who would be the right candidate for your organization. So what are you going to do? You are going to set eligibility criteria. You're going to set the vision and mission so that you can come across the different candidates and you can identify who is the right candidate for my organization. You are going to also share the job description so that you can identify who can fulfill those responsibilities, who can take up those job responsibilities in a proper way, and then who can be the right person for the organization. Now, this goes hand in hand. The similar kind of preparation will be done even by the interview, the one who is going to appear for the interview, that is the candidate. What will be his roles and responsibilities when we talk about the candidate? The candidate will know about the role. The candidate will know about the organization. The candidate will know about the eligibility criteria. And then he is going to prepare himself. He is going to prepare his interview question. He is going to prepare his resume. He is going to prepare his CV, that is curriculum vitae. And then he is going to appear for the interview process. So keep this in your mind whenever we talk about interview. Boys and girls, interview is conducted by the organization in order to find, in order to identify who the right candidate is, who can match up the expectations of the organization, and then accordingly hire such candidate who can work with the organization for a long period of time. So did I clear this particular understanding? Whenever we talk about interview, equal preparation, or as I said, interviewer has to do lots of preparation before conducting the interview process when compared to interview. They have to identify who the right candidate is. In order to identify right candidate, they have to follow a big, lengthy process. And that process is time taking. That process can be, again, sometimes it happens that even the process is good one. A wrong candidate is selected in interview. Why the wrong candidate is selected in the interview? Because the candidate did not study about the company. The candidate did not do any kind of research related to vision and mission. The candidate did not go through the job description. So though he had attended the interview later on, he is not fulfilling the task. Later on, he is finding to match up with the vision and mission of the organization. The whole task of conducting interview goes at a toss. So keep this in your mind that conducting interview is a difficult task. And after a year or two, probably after 3 years, every one of you, whosoever is attending this particular class, you all are going to enter into the shoes of the interviewer. Probably the first process, the first phase of interview is conducted by you. Probably you are given the responsibility of shortlisting the candidate, and then you have to go through the complete turmoil of selecting or shortlisting or even filtering the candidates. So it's not easy, it's tough. But as an interviewee, I'm talking about interview, the one who is going to sit and give the interview, they should know about the organization. They should see whether they are matching the expectation of the organization or not by judging or by seeing the eligibility criteria and by identifying whether they understood the roles and responsibilities or not. And finally, for today's class, we are going to discuss this particular slide. We are going to end it up here. So when we talk about the types of interview, sometimes interviews are conducted one-to-one. That means there will be a person who is going to conduct interview. There will be only one single person who is there in the room, who is there in his lobby, who is there at his desk, and he will call one by one each candidate, and then he will conduct the interview. Sometimes interviews are conducted by panel member, wherein there will be a person from HR, there will be a person from the department, and there will be a senior most member from the management. Sometimes there can be different levels of interview. For example, level 1 conducted by HR, level 2 conducted by department head, level 3 conducted by the head of the management. In order to save time, in order to cut short the process of interview, all three may sit together to conduct the interview process. Such kind of interviews are called as panel interviews. Please remember, when we talk about panel interview, though there will be one person who is going to come and give the interview, but interview will be conducted by couple of people. There can be two people, there can be three people, there can be four, there can be five. Based on the requirement of the organization, there can be different number of people who are going to conduct the interview. As I stated, sequential interview, wherein it goes in order, it goes in parallel way, all right. That means after phase 1 you enter into phase 2, then you enter into phase 3. That means there are different processes. You have to clear process 1, then you enter into process 2, then you enter into process 3. This is the sequential interview. For example, let me give you a live example of a certain organization. Whenever you are entering into any banking and financial services, wherever you are entering into any of the marketing research organization, there the first test that would be conducted by them is aptitude. Written ability test would be conducted, wherein they check your aptitude. The segments that would be asked under the aptitude test would be mathematics, reasoning, verbal and reasoning, logical would be there, and then English verbal would be there. Or sometimes even they ask the other common languages which are there. Say, for example, if you are working in different places, in the different areas, they may ask even the language which is spoken in that particular region. They want to check whether you know that particular language or not. So please keep this in your mind, but in broader context. When I talk about the global application of aptitude test, the aptitude test checks your mathematical ability, your reasoning ability, that is logical thinking, and third, they also check your verbal ability. How good or what is your command over the language, particularly English. This is called as aptitude test. Many of you who have attended MAT, that is Management Aptitude Test, few of you might have even qualified CAT, that is Common Aptitude Test. Similar kind of aptitude test is also conducted by the organizations, particularly when we talk about banking, when we talk about financial services, when we are talking about research-based organization. If I talk about Deloitte, if I'm talking about WNS, if I'm talking about certain organizations which are purely into research-based, all right? So for example, CRISIL and all. So all these, they conduct aptitude test first. After qualifying aptitude test, then the second round happens, wherein the HR is going to identify whether you match up as per the expectation of the organization or not. And then comes the third round, that is the final round of discussion with the member of management or with the seniors or the departmental head. So there can be different sequence, there can be different process, there can be different phases of interview, which is called as sequential interview. And finally, group interviews. In group interviews, what happens is, at that time, there will be different candidates who will be called, who will be asked to sit, and then even a panel will be there who will be asking a common question with each candidate, and then they point out who is answering the best, and then accordingly they are going to shortlist the best candidate. In general, I repeat, in general, group interviews are not conducted. Most of the time, you will see people conducting sequential interview, panel interview, one-to-one interviews. So, if you know what are these types of interview, then you start preparing. You start preparing yourself. All right. Till now, we were talking about in the broader context about the interview techniques, about the interview processes. All right. So you should always know whenever we talk about interview, interview is sharing your personal opinion with the person whosoever is conducting interview in order to set the bench, in order to set the proper platform, in order to identify what are the common things that are there between you and the other person. Clear? So in today's class, we identify what are the common things that a person should keep into mind or take into consideration when they are either conducting interview or appearing for an interview. So remember, you should do the company specific preparation. You should know the eligibility criteria. You should know the job description. When we talk about the interview, if we are talking about the interviewer, they should identify all these so that they can select, they can opt, they can choose the right candidate from the different people who come to give the interview. And then we also studied about the different types of interview, the common different types of interview, that is one-to-one interview, it could be panel interview or sequential interview or the group interviews. That's all in today's class. I want everyone to kindly mark your attendance so that I can note it down and then accordingly your attendance will be marked. So in case if you have any doubt, you are most welcome to get your doubts cleared. Thanks, Abhishek, for marking your attendance. Thank you, Ganga. Thanks, Roshni. Thanks, Buddy Usman. Thanks, Sudhanshu. Thank you, Ankit. Thanks, Sonal. Thanks, Akanksha. Thanks, Rohit. Thanks, Sanjeev. Thanks, Nizam. Thanks, Rajesh. Thanks, Sudhanshu. Thanks, Sonam. Thanks, Archana. So that's all in today's class. We are going to have another class on that is scheduled for tomorrow, wherein we are going to discuss about the basic preparation. We are going to talk about the preparation. If you are an interviewee, what are the common things that you have to keep in your mind whenever you are going to appear for the interview process? All right, that's all in today's class. Take care of yourself and have a great day ahead. But don't forget to revise the things that has been told, that has been explained to you all time and again, so that you can